In May of 2007, when my beloved father passed away unexpectedly to a heart attack, I became the primary caregiver for my mother, who had Alzheimer's, and my sister, Iraisa, who had Down syndrome. Now, Iraisa was nonverbal by choice, meaning she decided that it was easier to get her needs and her point across using gestures. So, literally, the entire family learned her version of sign language in order to communicate with her. Now, this was pretty seamless, except it didn't allow her to adequately or clearly communicate to me when she wasn't feeling well. So I paid close attention and always observed her so that I could pick up on any issues that were lurking before they became a problem. And I, was always spot on, took her to the doctor, blood work, whatever it was, quick, easy, simple solutions. And I expected that it would be the same way in 2015 when she started to have difficulty with her balance and also her vision. But it wasn't that way. And several visits to her neurologist, several changes in her seizure medication, and one visit to the ER is what it took for me to get the answer. My sweet Isa had Alzheimer's. And I looked at her neurologist as he explained that to me, and I was shocked. I didn't understand how that could be. And he explained to me that adults that have Down syndrome have a high rate of Alzheimer's when they are 40 or above. So I listened to the diagnosis and I thought, well, my mother was on medication that was able to slow down the progress, so that we'll be able to do that. And he explained to me that no, that's not at all how it would work. And her Alzheimer's was particularly merciless in that her diagnosis was in 2016, and by 2018, she had lost most of her vision and had become bedbound. And she was completely dependent for all of her needs. And then on the 23rd of December in 2019, she was rushed to the hospital, and they found that she had aspiration pneumonia, which is something that is common in people who are bedbound. Within 2 days of giving her antibiotics and the pneumonia not responding, the attending physician said to me, I think you should consider transferring her to hospice. And I resisted. I'm a flurry. We fight. We don't give in. And he shrugged his shoulders. They tried another antibiotic. That started to work. So after 2 days of it working and the pneumonia retreating, I thought, okay, well, this is good. And he approached again the attending physician and said, you have to understand the amount of damage that her lungs have sustained at this point means that she has a lifespan of maybe 6 months left. I think you should consider hospice. I relented, but I wanted in-home hospice. So on December 31st, 2019, I brought my sweet girl home. And as soon as she was in her own bed, in her comfortable surroundings, surrounded by love, she started to be very alert. She started eating again. The pneumonia had completely retreated. And I thought, wow, okay, yeah, it's not going to be 6 months. And then I thought, you know what? I think we're going to cheat death. I think that's what's going to happen. And so one evening when I go to check on her, I say, "Are you okay, girl?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "Yeah" to me. It was the first time I heard her speak in probably 5 years. And I thought, you know what? She needs me to hear this. She needs me to know that, yeah, she's okay. But then that ended up being the last time I heard her voice. And then she started to refuse food. She would literally clench her teeth anytime we tried to feed her. And I understood that what she was saying is enough. I've had enough. And on February 12th, 2020, my sweet girl left this planet. And in the end, we weren't able to cheat death. But she remains, although I miss her so, she still remains because she lives on in my heart and my mind. Thank you.